So hey everybody, welcome back to Bow and Arrow Garage. So I finally got the radiator and the fan for the C6 Corvette. So I wanted to go ahead and make a video of me removing the old radiator and installing the new one. But before I do that, I want to give you an update on the C3 Corvette. So I had come to the decision that I was going to buy a set of American Racing long tube headers for the car. They pretty much look like they're the best bet. Everything that I read on all the forums, everybody was saying that they were basically a perfect fit and that they just fell right into place. So I was kind of hesitant to spend the money that they're charging for those things because they're quite expensive. But with all the issues that I've had with the exhaust in the car already, I wanted to go ahead and just find something that would fit and just drop right in. But when I went to order them, they told me basically it was at least 12-week lead time on it and up to 24 weeks. And everything that I have read, they basically said once you buy from American Racing, that they're a great company, that they have a great product. But basically once you buy for it, they really don't give you status updates on your parts. You just you're in a waiting game, just waiting for them to come in. And so I really can't afford to wait 12 to 24 weeks to get a set of headers. So I haven't really decided what I'm going to do yet. I do have a friend that is an amazing welder, and so he told me that he would help me out. He builds exhaust systems, so he said basically he would help me out. I'm just going to have to fit everything, kind of index it, and then bring it to him. He said he's too old to be crawling under cars and different things. So anyway, so that thing that's going to be next on the agenda. I'm going to jump hard and heavy into it in the next week or two, but I've got to get the C6 back on the road. So with that being said, I'm going to jump into the video, and then we'll get this thing done, and then we can get back on the C3. Continue working on this radiator, try to get this thing out of here. Got a long way to go, but it's got to get done. So it's not going to get done until I get to work on it.
So I just took a bath in coolant, which I kind of knew I was going to. Getting the lower radiator hose off. I drained it as much as I could, but that is what it is. What's crazy is probably out of all the fluids on a vehicle, coolant is my least favorite. I just don't like the feel of it, but it kind of is what it is. Alright, I think I have this thing just about out. We will see here in a minute. I think I got everything disconnected. Might have been a better idea. Should have taken it out with the fan, but we'll see. So I'm sure this made sense to the engineers when they designed it, but it actually absolutely makes no sense. They have basically the condenser supporting the radiator, and I guess the thought process is that you're going to take the condenser out first, but the condenser would be a nightmare to take out. To me, the radiator needs to come out first and then the condenser, but I guess it really doesn't matter what I think should have been, because it's just not the case. And so I've got this one lowered tang in the bottom that I cannot seem to get to pop up over the radiator. See if you can pull this back a little bit. Pull it forward. Okay, pick this up also at the same time.
So for some reason I don't have footage of the radiator actually coming out of the car. Obviously it did come out at some point, but what happened to the video footage, I don't know. And the video doesn't really do justice to the insane amount of time that I worked on that radiator trying to get it out of the car. And like I kind of alluded to earlier, the big issue is that the lower passenger side, so the condenser has these little metal tangs that come out of them, and the radiator has plastic clips that pop up from underneath onto those tangs. And I just could not get that tank separated. I couldn't get the radiator separated from the condenser. So what I ended up doing is I actually ended up having to break that plastic tang off of the radiator. Obviously it's not a big deal because the radiator was getting replaced, but if I had to remove the radiator for some reason and I wasn't replacing it, I don't see any possible way that would come off. And it may just be an issue with my particular vehicle, but I absolutely could not get it out. But anyways, like I said, I broke off the tang. I was able to get the radiator that is out, and then so now I'm going to move into the video into reinstalling it. Okay, so I just set the fan down in there. I should be able to get the radiator in and then slide the fan straight up. I think there'll be plenty of room. So you can see it sitting under the car right there. So I'm going to go get a helping hand and then we'll get this radiator slid into place.
Ooh, that took me a little bit. And it looks like this side found its way in also. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the night. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Pretty much I got the radiator and the fan in. If I had known the fan was such an easy job, I probably wouldn't have replaced it. I mean, literally, if you learn nothing else from this video, the fan is about a 15-minute job. Probably total of 30 minutes just in jacking the car up high enough, because you can take the fan out of the bottom. You just have to have enough room for it to come out and down. So, or I should say down and out. But anyways, but honestly, at the end of the day, I kind of wish I hadn't spent the $300 on it, but it's cheap insurance. My son's driving the car, like I've said many times, and I doubt he would notice that it was overheating before it was too late. And so I'd rather spend $300 right now than spend a couple of $1,000 replacing an engine because, you know, we blew a head gasket and warped the heads or warped the block. So anyways, with that being said, I'm actually okay with it. So we're done. It's time to get this thing back on the road and move forward with the other builds. Okay guys, I finally got the radiator wrapped up. I'm going to go ahead and put some coolant in it. Alright, I'm going to go wash my hands real quick and then we'll get this thing cranked up. Okay guys, so as you can see, I glossed over a lot of the reassembly. I mean, it's just reverse of the removal. So I got it serviced with coolant and got it down off the ramps and went to take the first test drive. And as I was about to get on the highway, I got a warning that my right rear tire was flat. So I turned around and came back home, and sure enough, it had a nail in it. Luckily, it was in a repairable area, so I went ahead and pulled the wheel off, and I ran up to Discount Tire, and I'm not trying to bag on Discount Tire, but waited around for them to fix the tire. And I mean, it was in a perfectly repairable area, and the guy called me out and said, "Hey man, we tried to repair the tire and it's still leaking." And he said the nail went in at a real severe angle, and we tried to put a patch with the plug type in it. And he said because the plug's at such a severe angle, it's causing the patch to leak. And so I said, well, can you try just to put a patch? And he came over, the manager came over and says, no, the tire needs to be replaced. So I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I came home, that was last night. This morning I got up early. I went over to Poncho's tire shop and asked them if they could take a look at it. They dismounted the tire and they were able to fix it. So it is what it is. So I spent a good little while this morning getting that done. And then the headlights, you can see kind of periodically through the video, the headlights were just in really bad shape. So I went and bought a headlight restoration kit, and it took me forever to sand them down. Had a lot of somebody had restored them at one point before, and it was peeling in areas and stuff, and so I had to sand both headlights completely down. Got it done, and it's ready to go. So all in all, while the car's been down, I ended up replacing the radiator, the fan, the thermostat, radiator hoses. I actually ended up replacing the rear hatch struts. Now we ended up with the tire issue, so this thing's been kind of a headache, but hopefully that tire patch works. It looks like so far it is. The guy said there was a potential for it to leak because he said, honestly, he said when whoever repaired the tire before did a really bad job. And so I guess we'll see what happens with that. I may end up buying new tires here in the near future, or at least one new tire. So anyways, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and shut down this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel. Have a great night, and we hope to see you again in the future.